Alright, Shalom Makim. Before I get started with the lesson, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Harakakudash. And of course, as always, double honors to our apostles and elders that were well at Great Millstone. And also Shalom to all you sincere Akim, preaching this word in all truth and in sincerity. So this is a video posted by Dabu7, and it says, "This is unprecedented in history. APMEX CEO explains why they halted silver bullion sales." So let's listen to the video. And I'm gonna get some scriptures, but let's just listen to what he has to say first.
This is Dabu7 taking another look here at what's going on with silver. As we had witnessed over the weekend, there was a big frenzy as this group that is on Reddit was talking about going after certain stocks and then short squeezing silver. Now, if you don't know what a short squeeze is, this is where people come along and they find out in the books that a bunch of other people have big bets on shorts, which means they're betting that a stock falls. That's shorting. When they see these large numbers of bets sitting there, they know that if they run this up and run the price up, it's going to liquidate their shorts. It's going to wipe them out, and they're going to be called on all their bets. They're going to have to cover them. So if they were taking out a loan or borrowing money from someone else to pull this off, that all gets wiped out. This has been the game here thus far, as they were doing this with GameStop, then they were talking about AMC, and then they shifted the talk over to silver. Now, silver is a different animal. It's not going to be budged and pumped as easily as some paper stock. Now, yes, GameStop is a brick and mortar place, but here's the thing. If you want to hold a physical piece of GameStop, go buy you a video game or pull you a brick out of the side of the building. Literally, that's holding a physical piece of GameStop, getting a piece of brick and mortar off the building. Now, if you did this with silver, you already know. You have silver, which is worth something in the physical, versus that crappy piece of brick and mortar that you'd be pitching because it's worth.
And that's true, What he's saying is true, that silver actually has monetary value. You could take silver and go, I've heard in certain countries, I've heard stories even here in America, certain banks, you could actually go and take precious metals like silver and gold and trade it in for Federal Reserve notes, for paper currency, because silver and gold actually hold real value. And as he's saying, if you want to invest in a, bullshit, you want to invest in a GameStop, go buy a video game. If you want to invest in shoes, clothing, go buy some merchandise. There's actually apps that deal with, stock value of shoes and clothing. I forget the actual app, where you could see what your shoes and clothes are worth for, how much they're worth, and what the trade value is, Well, but when shit hits the fan, nobody's going to be worried about video games and shoes and clothing. All that is going to be worthless. All right. So I'm going to get a quick script. Alright, so this is Genesis 13:1, And Abram went up out of Egypt, he and his wife, and all that he had, and Lot with him, into the south. And Abram was very rich in cattle, and silver, and in gold. So biblically and truthfully, because, the scriptures are the truth, universal knowledge, all right? It actually tells you that cattle, which is, cows, sheep, goats, horses, different animals, primarily, cows, bulls, goats, sheep. That's yeah, that's what actual, riches are. Cattle, silver, and gold. Because with cattle, you could do a lot, like cows and bulls. You can make a lot of hide, leather, clothing, furniture, and, not just food, not just milk, but other things, You can make horns, like instrument horns from the actual horns. You can make it, like I said before, you can make, clothing from the leather. Like Gad, the so-called Native Americans, what they would do with the buffalo, they would make tools from the bones and, different apparel, teepees, jewelry. There's a lot of uses for, cattle, sheep. You can make some high quality, clothing with sheep, man. Wool is antimicrobial. There's socks and underwear and different clothing made from wool. And it's it's hypoallergenic, they say. And with the sheep, you could, man, that's like one of the best types of meat you could eat. That and goat, and goats also, you could, there's a lot of uses for them. They make milk as well. Goat milk. Goat milk is actually better for you than cow's milk. And the scriptures actually talk about that. I'm gonna bring that scripture up as well. All right, so this is Proverbs 27, and man, there it is, man. Wow. All right, so this is Proverbs 27. I'm going to start at 23. It says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds," which, as the scriptures are, a double two-edged sword. Not just only your your herds, your flocks of animals, but also this is talking about the brethren. Just like a herdsman, he cares for his animals. Well, if you're the head of a camp, you got to look after the Akim, your men. Okay, as the scriptures say, that you ought to love, your brother as yourself. So it says, "Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. For riches are not forever, and doth the crown endure to every generation. The hay appeareth, and the tender grass showeth itself, and herbs of the mountains are gathered. Now this is the point, 26 and 27. The lambs are for thy clothing, which is what? Wool. And goats are the price of the field. Because when you understand about land, goats actually tend to the fields, tend to the land, to clean it up. Like if you got weeds and, wild grass, vegetation that you don't want there, usually goats will go and they'll eat all that up. They'll eat all the weeds. They'll clean it up. They'll tend to it. So goats have their use as well, man. Goats actually are like natural lawnmowers, if you will. So lambs are for that clothing. You get wool. Not just food, but you get wool to make clothes. Some of the best clothing is wool. And the goats are the price of the field. They'll tend to the land for you. Keep it, upkeep it. Maintain it. Okay? Because if you own property or you own something and you don't maintain it, it'll just lose its value as it degrades. So goats will actually, upkeep those fields, maintain everything, keep it nice, so it doesn't lose its value. It says, and thou shalt have goat's milk, enough for thy food. See? No, man. Us being Israelites, so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you go to the doctor, and the majority of our people, man, they're lactose intolerant. I know for a fact I am. I'll eat a bowl of cereal or something, and you start to get the bubble guts, man. You feel irritated in your stomach, man, in your gut. Now it's not unlawful, but it's not it's not better than cashew milk, coconut milk, almond milk, and then sheep's milk, man. Yes, goat milk. Goat milk, I believe, does not contain lactose. It says enough for thy food, for the food of thy household, and for the maintenance, for thy maidens. So back in Genesis 13 and 2, and Abram was very rich in cattle. So cattle is it has value. It's always going to contain value because it brings different forms of merchandise, man. Clothing, food. All right. It says in silver and in gold. In this video, I was, showing you, there's complications in the stock market dealing with silver. They're not really producing any silver, because something's going on with the stock market. And I'm going to bring that up as well. Alright, so there's an app you can download. It's called Kitco. And it deals with certain stocks like gold, silver, all these stocks listed here, right? And the USD, the dollar, bring that up. It was going down. It always goes up and down, but 90, 91, that's pretty low when it's dealing with the dollar. That's why you see certain, goods, things are getting so-called more expensive. But it's not that things are getting more expensive. It's that the dollar is, it's dying. It's losing its buying power. You got big importers like China. A lot of them goods coming from China is getting expensive, man. Everything you really buy and shit out here is mainly from China, man. And it's getting more and more expensive because the dollar losing its power. And those countries, China, Russia, they're doing away with the dollar, man. They don't want to use it anymore. And that's why there's these complications in the stock market right now. Look at silver. Silver's like $27 an ounce. 6 months ago it was like 29. But a year ago it was like 16. Okay, 17. So it's shooting up in price. And now they don't want to produce it. Something really big is going on, man. So this is a book of Habakkuk. Yeah, this is Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, also because he transgressed by wine. And that wine is the philosophies of this man. And that man is Esau, man. Edom. Alright. He is a proud man. And the Edomites are a very proud nation of people. Okay. Neither keepeth at home. Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Which is dealing with his military. Okay, his so-called foreign investment. Because when America and these other Edomite countries like, NATO and the EU, when they go into these other countries, man, okay, when they topple these other countries and they bring their philosophy, they gather the people of those nations, man. Okay, why do you think you have, people from India coming to America, going to Europe, to go into their schools to, so-called educate themselves? Because Esau's in power. Okay, he's in power and he captivates these people, man. Through his power, his military might, through his education system. Okay, through his monetary system. Okay. He's a proud man. He enlargeth his desire as hell. There's no satisfying this devil. Okay. He neither keepeth at home. That's why you got hundreds of military bases, U.S. bases throughout the earth. And what do you think's happening to those children, those people in those countries? They're getting seduced by his philosophy. Then what do they want? They want to join Esau's military. They want to come over here and pick up a trade. Okay, which there's nothing wrong with that, but nothing wrong with, wanting to learn a trade, go to school and earn money. But it shows you that he has full control over the planet, like it tells you in Job. Okay, the earth was given into his hand. Alright? Verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? And eventually, as it's, slowly but surely taking place now, you got a lot of countries rising up against him. Okay, rising up against his devil, Esau, so-called white man. Okay. Like China. China doesn't want them in the South China Sea. What do they want to do over there? Okay, they want to build a base in the South China Sea. And the Chinese are getting pissed off. They're giving Taiwan military hardware, weapons, training them. And Taiwan is inside the border of China. So they're getting pissed off. Okay. Soon they're going to come against him, come against Babylon, which is America, to destroy it. It says, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. This devil has gained the world, stole the world by the power of the sword. It says, and to him that lathed himself with thick clay. Another word for thick clay. All right. Is it's I bought yet. Yeah, I believe it's I bought yet, which means heavy debt. Okay. Heavy debt. And this country is in heavy debt. You look at the U.S. debt clock, it's death clock. It's like, what is it, like $9 trillion, $8 trillion in debt. This country. And it's in debt mainly to China. You know. It's verse 7. Shall they not rise up suddenly, that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for the violence of the land, of the city, and of all that dwell therein. So eventually all these nations are going to come up against you. And that's going to happen. You know, in our lifetime, World War III is going to kick off. You know, World War III is going to be a nuclear war. That's going to happen in our lifetime. And that's going to be all these nations that Esau spoiled. All these nations that Esau raped, robbed, and murdered. You know. And then ultimately Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is going to return with the chariots, which are the so-called UFOs, to assist in his destruction, to be the main force against him. All right. So with that, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Harakakudash. And of course, as always, double honors to our apostles and elders that rule well at Great Millstone. And shalom to the elect.